the coin or the die in order to build the plate, and then the plate is printing the stamp. So what is, I mean, first this is the subject that I prefer, and in which I'm probably the more deep when you know, knowing the printings difference and stuff like that. I know it, but not as many of you.
Sorry for a moment. Ποιος από εσάς δεν καταλαβαίνει το τι λέει?
Δεν ξέρω.
Άρα όλοι καταλαβαίνουν.
Όχι, εγώ δεν ακούω.
Σε κουφείς.
Να μας μεταφράσεις, κύριε Πρόεδρε.
Να
μας μεταφράσεις, κύριε Πρόεδρε.
If you don't understand,
δεν τα ξέρουμε όλα, θα δούμε.
if you don't understand, you stop me. I can refrain.
Ο Λουί, ο φίλος μας απόψε, θα μας μιλήσει για την κατασκευή των πλακών. Δεν θα ασχοληθεί με την κατάταξη. Αυτό που ενδιαφέρει είναι πώς κατασκευάστηκαν οι πλάκες.
So you know we will speak about what I call the manufacturing of the fabrication of the stamps, which is obviously not something that you are manufacturing, but as I said, you are manufacturing the die and the plate. So you will see in this presentation, and it's absolutely crazy about these large MS heads, that even before it was born, you have a long story for which has made it happen. And you know, you will see the way I have built the agenda. The presentation that time is in English, so maybe it's better for everyone. So we will start about definition. Because you know, in our environment, we need to speak about the same thing, and in French we have an expression calling a cat a cat. So I will just give you some stuff here.
What is me?
Πριν την κατασκευή υπάρχει μια μεγάλη ιστορία. Και πριν ξεκινήσουμε, λέει, θα ήθελα να ξεκαθαρίσουμε περί των ορισμών που έχουν δοθεί μέχρι στιγμής στα διάφορα στάδια κατασκευής.
So we will speak obviously about historical data, what I'm saying about about the printing and the stamp. We will speak about die proof, plate proof. So you will see stamps, you will see essay, you will see die proof, you will see many things. And we will speak about the French essay of 58, which is quite important, and I will tell you why, but also about the other ones that we call CRS sans inscription or sans légende, without any inscription or without any legend. We will speak, I will show you obviously the MUCA. Then we will go to the die. So there are different dies. There is a medallion die, there are some progressive dies, there are some final dies, as it's written. And obviously there are die proof associated with that. We will speak about the typographic plates of 60.
Αντώνη, δεν τα ξαναλές αυτά.
Αυτά θα τα πω όταν τα τελειώσει.
Σαν ομάδα, τέλειωσε. Όλα πάει τώρα στις πλάτες.
So voilà, now it's a plate, so 61 typographic. Then we will obviously speak about the two value of 76, and we will start with the die. We will speak about the plates, which are not typographic, it's a typo here, it's not typographic at all. We will speak about the die proof of the postal stationery, which came at the same time in 76. I will give you some late historical data, some references, and obviously question answer, or even during the presentation.
Let me translate. Ο σκελετός της ομιλίας σου αφορά αυτά τα σημεία. Καταρχήν είναι οι ορισμοί. Θα δώσει μερικές ιστορικές πληροφορίες. Θα μιλήσει για τις δοκιμές του εκτύπου και τις δοκιμές της πλάκας. Θα μιλήσει για την εκτύπωση των μητρών με απευθείας χτύπημα, όπως γίνονται με τα νομίσματα. Θα μιλήσει για τις ομοιότητες που έχει με την έκδοση τη γαλλική της αιρές του 58 και με τις αιρές χωρίς επιγραφή. Θα δείξει και θα μιλήσει για το σχεδίασμα της μεγάλης, τη μακέτα της μεγάλης κεφαλής. Θα μιλήσει για τη μήτρα του Μηταλίου και τις τα προοδευτικά και την εξέλιξη των δοκιμών της μήτρας, την προσωρινή μήτρα και τις εξελικτικές δοκιμές της μήτρας, την τελική μήτρα και τα τελικά δοκίμια της μήτρας, τις υπογραφικές πλάκες του 61 και τις δοκιμές της πλάκας, δοκιμές μήτρας των 30 και 60 λεπτών που γίνανε το 76 ήταν η δεύτερη παραγγελία, οι υπογραφικές πλάκες του 76 και οι δοκιμές της πλάκας, οι δοκιμές μήτρας των μονοφύλων του 76, θα συνεχίσει με κάποιες ιστορικές πληροφορίες και μετά θα παραθέσει τη βιβλιογραφία και θα επακολουθήσουν ερωτήσεις και απαντήσεις.
So some definition. The definition I'm using are from this book which has been done by the two academies, the French one and the European one. It's in French. But you know it's interesting because they are really qualifying everything precisely. So this book has been done in '99, and you can find it if you want on the web because you can. They are not.
Οι ορισμοί με τους οποίους χρησιμοποιεί είναι παρμένοι από το λεξικό, το φιλοτελικό και ταχυδρομικό λεξικό που εκδόθηκε το 1999 από την Γαλλική Φιλοτελική Ακαδημία και από την Ευρωπαϊκή Φιλοτελική Ακαδημία.
There is also an encyclopedia of the Academy, which are two big books, but they are very rare, and they go deep in the way the stamps were manufactured in France. And obviously the Greek stamp has been done in France, so it's exactly the same way, normally. And so you can find a lot of things on these books, obviously. So the key things, the die proof, so I mean the paper you are getting from the die, we call them épreuves, okay, in France.
Comment?
Épreuves.
Ah, épreuves.
Okay. And the definition of the dictionary, the present one, is impression on paper by a tool destined for fabrication of material for printing postage stamps. You know? Okay, so the die are done in stamps manufacturing for doing the plates.
Η εξήγηση και ο ορισμός που δίδει το λεξικό που αναφέραμε είναι εκτύπωση σε χαρτί από όργανο προορισμένο για την κατασκευή υλικού για την εκτύπωση γραμματοσύμων. Αυτό είναι το die proof, δηλαδή το δοκίμιο της μήτρας, που γαλλικά λέγεται preuve.
Okay, and here we are speaking about philatelic terms. At that time they were not knowing that terms, you know, they were using different terms. Okay, this is a philatelic lexicon, you know, just to speak all together with the same thing.
Αυτή η ώρα είναι καθαρά φιλοτελική, εφευρέθησαν αργότερα και την εποχή εκείνη βεβαίως δεν μιλούσαμε με αυτή την ορολογία, χρησιμοποιούσαν άλλα πράγματα.
Αντώνη, το μεταφράζεσαι. Το θέμα είναι αυτή η πρόταση όπως είναι γραμμένη και τη διαβάζουμε. θεωρούμε ότι είναι λογική. Δηλαδή λέει die proofs. Και λέει τι είναι die proofs? Impression on paper of a die proof.
Όχι,
Το άλλο είναι die, δεν είναι die proof, είναι οκλή. Die proof είναι το impression on paper. Το of a die, το άλλο δεν έχει τη λέξη proof, το εργαλείο είναι die.
Matrix.
Δηλαδή αυτό είναι die proof.
Proof
Αυτό σου λέει.
on paper.
Proof σημαίνει παλιόχαρτο με απόδειξη,
I will-
πιστοποίηση.
I will explain that. I will explain why. You know, the things that maybe I have to start, but this is coming. You know, you have two jobs. The engraver, who is doing the die, and the guy who is a printer, who is doing the plates. Normally, it's two guys. In France, it was always two guys. Bar, for the die, because he was the engraver, so he was doing the die for the stamps, but before also for the coin, for the medals. You know?
Impression on paper and die proof.
So let me finish. Okay, so first things to understand. Two jobs, two guys. One is the engraver, he is responsible for the die. So for make, he's engraving medals, okay?
Yeah.
And there is another guy who is Hulot, okay, in France. And this guy is taking the die after it has been made, and he's making the cliché, or the flanc, whatever, and he's making the plates. So this is two jobs.
Υπάρχουν δύο
So,
διακριτές εργασίες.
so when the...
Sorry, let me υπάρχουν δύο άνθρωποι. Για τα γαλλικά είναι.
Στη Γαλλία
Σε εμάς έγινε μπλε.
στη Γαλλία υπήρχαν δύο διαφορετικοί χαρακτήρες. Ο ένας ήταν ο
Ο ένας
χαράκτης
ήταν ο χαράκτης
και ο άλλος
και ο άλλος
ήταν
ήταν εκείνος ο οποίος το έπαιρνε και έκανε την πλάκα.
το κλισέ.
So you know, two jobs. When the guy is doing, and I will come to that, it's very detailed after, if you start to ask, but I'm coming on that. Let's start by the definition, and we'll come on the ways we do the proofs and all that stuff. So what I just want to say is the die proof are done by the engraver. Okay? So these dies, they are normally on a sheet of paper which is high quality. They are alone, okay? And they are in papier de Chine, papier du Japon, papier d'Inde, okay? Which are very nice quality, high quality paper, okay? And they are in the middle of a sheet or a feuillet, as we say, okay? And it's alone. They are done in very limited numbers because they are done by the engraver, which is making his job. So you can imagine no electricity. You know, he has to do something which is like a postage stamps, and he's doing some removing the metals. So at the moment, he just wants to see exactly what he has done. So he's doing this proof, and it's a name. Proof is a proof, okay? And he can see much more better on the paper than on his die. So he can see it, and then either he's making stuff to correct, or it's okay. And I will come back to that, you know? So there are two types of die proof. The progressive proof, and you know, at the middle of his job, he's making some proof, he's looking at them, and he's not happy with some stuff. So he's correcting it, okay? And you know, you have all the definitions, okay? Which are exactly what I'm saying. And then you have the final proof at the end of his process. He's making a proof, oh, it's perfect. Okay, so he's not changing anymore the die, so we call them the final proof. Okay?
Ο χαράκτης κάνει διάφορες εργασίες και κατά τη διάρκεια των εργασιών, χαράσσοντας το μετάλλιο, την ήτρα, θέλει να δει πώς πάει η εργασία του. Οπότε το τυπώνει και βλέπει τις τυχόν ατέλειες, τις ξαναδιορθώνει, ξανατυπώνει. Αυτά είναι τα διαδοχικά τραβήγματα των δοκιμίων. Μέχρι που φτάνει στο τελικό και λέει αυτό είναι και έχουμε το τελικό.
The progressive printing is made by the engraver or the other guy?
Sorry?
The progressive die
No,
proof
every-
is made by the
die-
guy or the other guy?
die proof. You know? So you have two types of proof, of die proof. You have the progressive, which are pictures, which are printing on something which will disappear because he will change the die, and later on he will do another one, and as he is
So it's
happy,
made by the engraver,
only is the engraver, only.
not the other guy.
No, no,
The other guy.
The other guy is coming now. He's the guy of the plate,
Yeah.
which is a printer normally, okay? And he's doing plate proof, same thing, but for many other reasons. I will come to that because it's. So he's doing plate proof, essay, we call them, okay? And the definition is interesting. Impression using a tool destined to print the postage stamps. We are at the plates level. So they are made by the printer, okay? Okay, and they are made for many, many reasons. At that time, they have to do proof, essays, they have to do plate proof to select the right color, because the color were done by mixing oil and different stuff. They are done in order to calibrate the machine, which was the hand machine, the standard printer, it was a press, and they have to put everything to adjust. Okay? They are done to see the quality of the paper. You know, they are done for many, many reasons. Okay? They are done also to calibrate what we call the découpage or the coussinet d'impression. So they are done for many other things, because if the engraver is an artist, because he's doing one die, okay, this guy will do an industrial stuff, which is a plate, which will make millions of stamps. You know? So, two jobs. An industrial for the printer and much more an artist for the engraving. So the number of plate proof are obviously much more larger. You have a lot of different, and they are made by plates, so it's 150 per printing. So you can find many, many different kind and many plate proof. They are done also on multiple impression, recto verso, tête beige, because you know they are not, they don't want to do sometimes something very artistic or whatever. They just want to calibrate the machine. So they are using already used papers, which is in the workshop. You know, we will see that after that. Huh? It's a lot of boring definition to start, but after that I will show you the different stuff. And there are existing some particular proof. You know, when this guy, the printer, has done all his job, he's trying, and he finds the exact calibration, so he's doing one printing, and he's saying, that's all, it's okay, it's done. We are done, so we can use that calibration and that paper and that ink to do the steps. And that we call that the imprimatur, which is a term which is used in all.
Η έκφραση τυπωθήτω.
So we call them also final essay or essay bar for the larger essays. So in conclusion, die proof are coming from the die. They are done by the engraver. Okay. Plate proof are done by the printer from the plates. So it's very interesting that Constantinides in 33 has separated the two. Die proof, plate proof, you know, and he calls them essai de la matrice, so I mean essay of the die, okay, or essai des valeurs, which is because essai means try in France, you know, it's a try. When you do a try, c'est un essai, you know. So he used that term essay of the value, which is good, I mean, in terms of translation. So now, as I said, we will speak about all the paper which has been exchanged between the Greek government, the Greek administration, and the French people, which was administration, but they were working on their own. You know, they were not paid by the state. They were paid on what they were doing. So, for an example, Bar was paid 1,500 francs per die. Hulot was paid 1.5 francs per 1,000 steps. You know, so the government gives them the space to work, but they were also able to do stuff for private company. Barre has done die for Orfèvrerie, Christophe, for example. You know, he was doing medals for town in France or region, you know. So he was not paid by the government. The government gives them the place and pays them every time he was doing something. So it's interesting because it means that it's a reason why we are finding many things from the family of Barre which are not the property of the French government, because the French government got only the last die, but all the state before, they were the property of, and something for you. So, this is the letter I show you. This is the letter done by Delakis to Monsieur le Président. So, some names. In France, it was, we call it la monnaie, the mint in English. At the mint, donc la monnaie de Paris, we had different mint in different regions, in different big towns, but the main one is in Paris. It was, and it was managed by a guy named Pelouse. I will speak about that. This Pelouse was directly reporting to the Ministry of Finance. No Ministry of Posts at that time. Okay, so the ministry, I mean Napoleon, the ministry, Pelouse, and then he had Barre, and Hulot was under the order of Barre. It was not at the same time. Hulot was the boss.
Pelouse was the highest employee state employee.
The minister. But yeah, but you're right. He's right.
Public servant, the highest public servant was Pelouse.
Pelouse, yeah, was the top guy, but he was not making anything. He was making
Under Pelouse, there were private undertakers.
private undertakers.
Working in the state establishment.
Yeah, he has many things. He had the
They were
stamps.
private, they were not public servants.
Yeah, but
Under Pelouse.
Pelouse has Barre, but not only, he has many other things.
But not
Yeah.
as an employee, right? Because
No, he was not an employee.
Yes,
Barre was
that's
not
what
an
he
employee.
is asking. Τίποτα. Θα βρήκαμε. Αυτό που ρώτησες το βρήκαμε.
So this is the letter done by the legation, the Greek legation in Paris. The top guy in the Greek legation was Delakis. Delianis, voilà. Okay, and they had some discussion, and we have that letter, which is a 3-page letter, okay, which is Monsieur le Président, so this is Pelouse, to Pelouse. He agreed on the fact that the French will do the stuff, you know. And you have this famous 3rd page, you know, where he's defining here the size, long, weight, 8, okay. He's defining Helinico-Grammatosima, he's defining the 1 lepton, 2 lepta, etc. The value. He's defining the color, and as I said, you can see that the 1 lepton was supposed to be black, but as I said last week, Barre told to the Greek guys, don't take black because we have done that, like the Brit has done with the black penny. But it was very difficult for us because we can reuse a step which has been already cancelled, okay? So they listened to Barre and they changed from black to brown. Huh? But and they are giving the quantity of stamps they want for the Paris printing. And if you add all the total here, it's 510,000. When we know that at the end they got about 3 times that stuff. So this is the initial order. You can find that at the archive of the Mint, or I think there is also a copy at the archive of the museum stuff. So we are here on the 1st of August 60. Normally the time which was needed to do a die by Barre was 3 to 4 months. Okay? same. Hulot was supposed to do the plate, 7 plates, between 4 and 5 months. Anyway, let's say by the die. So on the 1st of August, Bar got the order. Okay, August, September, October, November.
For one die,
For one die.
7 times this.
No, one die.
No.
One die.
For one left out.
No,
left out.
one die. I will come. It's more complex than that. It's one die. Bar has done one die. Okay? Which were made by successive dies in order to, and I will come to that, let me show you, to arrive to the final one. And he was giving the final one, and he was paid for the final one. But he has done one die. Okay, I will come to that.
Excuse me, when you say one die, you mean the medallion itself? Because all the other things,
So, as I said,
One.
all the other, he's doing many things in order to arrive to one final die, and this one final die is given to the printer, only one. And with this,
Μετά μπαίνουν τα αξίες, από τα έτυπα,
Άσε.
είναι όλα ίδια.
Άσε.
Σου εξηγώ, για να μην τραβάς
μισό λεπτό. Sorry,
Μία.
ο Μπαρ δεν ξαναχάραξε τα γύρω
no,
εκτός.
no, but I will come to that.
Δεν τα πήρε.
I will come to that.
Αυτό σου λέω, άρα μόνο το μετάλλιο χάραξε.
Εντάξει, I will come to that.
Και το μέλλον.
So we are not on that yet. We are in August 60. No die is done yet. Normally, he was supposed to give the die in November, but something happened. Napoleon was not emperor, and he was just emperor since few months. And he asked to the Ministry of Finance, I want on all the stamps, the French one obviously, on all the medals, to have the how you call that, the Roman, for the emperor.
The crown.
Λορέ.
Lauré, voilà, Lauré, Empire Lauré. Okay, I don't know the term in English, but you got it. Huh? So he has to take all the die of the stamp, the die of the stamp and all the die of the coin, and to do them. And you can see that this letter is dated on 6th of November, and look, dans les plus brefs délais, which means as soon as possible, toc, toc. This is a letter from Pelouse to Bar. So Bar stopped everything, and he has done that. So he gave the Greek die, not in November to Hulot, but in February. And because we are always saying this is Hulot, the bad guy, and blah blah, not really. Bar was not guilty, but okay. So this is one thing which is interesting to understand the reason why the die was given only in February, which was about 7 months after the order, when normally it's 3 to 4 months. So Hulot finally got the die. Okay, the final one, not the intermediate one, but the final one on the 1st of February. Okay, because Hulot was supposed to do the plates, like he has done for all the French stamps. So then we don't have any paper. What I'm saying here, it's only coming from real papers that I found in the archive. It's not a story, it's paper. So the reason why I show you the paper, the letters. Okay, so even if I don't have the letter which has been sent to the Greek government, he had a book on which he was writing, everything he was sending here or there. So on April the 2nd, Antonopoulos, which was working for Delakis, Delianis, he was the first secretary of the Greek legation in Paris, visited Hulot. And he wanted to get some news. He has done the order 8 months before, so where are my plates, And Hulot said, hey, wait a minute, I got the die only 2 months ago, so let me do my job and I will give you. So, just after this meeting, Kallergis, Okay, it's Kaleagis. It's after the Laiagis. The Kaleagis, the ministry, the big guys in France for the Greek ministry, wrote a letter to Pelouse, which was the boss of this stuff, you know. And what Kaleagis was asking, give me the die back, and I will manage myself to the plates, because you are not able to give me the plates before September at that time. The day after, so you know, 2, 3, 4, and we have all this letter. Hulot was a very smart guy. I mean, all the correspondence that we have shows that this guy was also a genius, not on an artistic way, but he was a businessman, you know. He wrote a letter to Pelouse explaining that he got the final die only 2 months before, and that he can only deliver 2 or 3 or 4 plates in July, but not all of them. So you know, he was quite fair, you know. So on the 5th, and this is what we call minute de la lettre, so a letter sent to the Greek, which is only the minute. Pelouse sent to Hulot the letter to Kaleagis and asked to Kaleagis, are you okay with the date? And Kaleagis answer,
June 15.
and Kaleagis asked to get the first 4 plate and the stand associated by June 15, and the 3 left 1 month after. This is a Kaleagis letter to Pelouse. So Pelouse agreed, in that sense. And then we don't know what's happened. The only papers that we find after the 5th of April is from the 11th. And this 11th, and probably many things happened in that time which was not formal, but between Pelouse, Hulot, Barre, and maybe Kaleagis also. And on the 11th of April, Pelouse sent a letter to Barre telling him that he will get back the die. So mystery here. Why giving back the die to Barre, who was not supposed to do the plates?
He will probably discuss it first with Barre.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, because
it was all set already
Pelouse
before.
I will tell you the story after, but Pelouse and Barre was against Hulot. I will tell you after, right? Okay? So on the same day, Barre answered to Pelouse, and he said, this is my financial condition for the die 1.5 thousand, and for the plates 1.5 thousand each plate. You know, Barre will answer to Pelouse, not to Kaleagis. Pelouse was working with Kaleagis, that the price of the die and the plates. So it means that Barre was able to do the plates. So why? And you know, it's a little bit complex because there are several stories which are parallel. Okay? So on April 19, Kaleagis sent a letter to Pelouse and he accepted Barre condition. Because Kaleagis was loving Barre, you will see why. Okay? So, just to end the story, at the end of the story, Barre shipped to Athens the first plates on August 10 and the last 3 on September 11, which means 2 months later that what Hulot has committed to do. But this is life.
But the
So,
quality was better.
On September 26, after the shipment, this is a letter sent by Kaleagis to Pelouse to acknowledge that he has received the 7th plate in 2 shipments, okay, to confirm the payment to Barre, very clean, and to thank the French administration and more particularly Mr. Barre. This is a letter, very nice letter, from Kaleagis in September. So this is just to close that chapter of the story, but there are many things behind, as you will see. Then, interesting, 5 years after, Barre received, in 69, he received a letter from the Greek government, okay, from a guy named de la Yanis, okay, and he got Officier de l'Ordre Royal, and this is the paper with Mr. Barr of this country. You know, so it was a very good relation between the Greek administration. So this is the historical data. I just want to show you the letter and stuff like that. So, and I will now give you the reason why it happens that way. So, die proof. So, now we have to be back in 58. Okay? Sorry for that, but let's put apart the Greek stuff, and we are in 58. The French has decided to do the stamps in the 40s, and they introduced the first stamps on the 1st January 49, 9 years after the Brits. You know, so since that time,
After Great Britain.
After the British.
they went to London to see the way it was done, but they were not satisfied with the Tidus, you know, so it's the reason why they prefer to use the typography, which is making much more better aesthetic results. So, since 49, the plates were done in France by a guy named Anatole Hulot. He was a printer, and he was using a method to do the 100 stamps plate, that we call galvano in France, with galvanoplasty. Galvanoplasty. Galvanoplasty is electrolytic. You know, so the way he was doing it, he was coining lead, so easy to coin. He was assembling that, and he was putting that on a bath with electrolytic transfer of copper, and then he was taking a copper galvano. This was electrolytic way, and this was done since 49. So the number of stamps produced the first year was 46 million in France. Okay, only 7 years after, it was multiplied by 5. Remember, Hulot was paid 1.5 francs français per 1,000 stamps. So Hulot became rich. You cannot imagine. If you make yourself, and on top of that, he was paid by Galvano, and in France we had two Galvano because the plate we are 300, like the 30 and the 60. He was paid 1,500, and the French were changing the plates because they were fragile.
That's the critical.
Okay, this is so, and I will come back to that. So this is a table which is at the Musée de la Poste, the Museum of Post, and you can see it's very long. Yeah? You have by value and stuff like that. You can see that starting the year of 1854, the French government said to the public, if you are putting a stamps, you will pay two times less. In order, because you know before it was paid by the guy receiving, not by the guy sending. Okay, so he said if you are paying the stamps when sending it, it's half price, and then boom, it explodes. Totally, you can see that on that.
The British did that from the beginning.
Yeah, but the Brits are smart,
Yeah.
and they are not fighting to each other because all these guys were francs-maçons, you know. And they were from, it's another story, but they were coming from different schools, you know. So, Hulot had the monopoly. He was the only guy who was able to do galvanoplasty at that time. Okay? So, the Mint, which was part of the Ministry of Finance, were absolutely upset because they were paying a lot of money to Hulot. And in 58, Pelouse, and there is a letter, you will see, asked to Barr, please Mr. Barr, are you able to create a way which is alternative to galvanoplasty in order to do the plates? I have the letter. So, this is at that time that Barr created what we call la frappe directe balancier, or direct shrinking in the coining press. So it's a reason why that is part of the stuff. So this is the balancier. And the way he was doing, he was not taking lead, coining lead, but he was coining bronze, which is much more difficult, okay, because it's harder. And this is that machine that the stuff goes boom, and he was coining the cliché for the stamps or the coin. But you have several of them at the Museum of Mint in Paris. You have been there, Stéphane? Go there because it's interesting. It's mainly, so this is this famous machine. So Barre receives the order from Pelouse. Please do a method. So he took the first French stamps, the Dimitra, the Cérès. Okay. He removed here République or Empire Français, and he put Essai 58, and he put the value of 00, just to be sure that he don't have any problem. And same process, he has done a proof. And that is a progressive proof. It's not mine, it's from the collection of Raymond Bosson, which is the most advanced expert of the proof and done in France. It's a progressive one. So he has, maybe it's the only one, probably, you know. And he has done some retouche, some correction, and then he has done the final one, which is this one. This one, and I think we are speaking about that quantity here. So then he has created the plates. The plates, some lucky guys have seen them. They were done by individual clichés, and the clichés were assembled very nicely with the name on the top, okay, in order to do the 150 stamp plates. And he has done some proof of the plates that time. Okay, he has done the black, which is quite rare, very rare in fact. We don't know so many multiple. I have a pair of it, but I have not seen, it's very rare. And you have these three ones which are much more popular. I mean, you can find them. So he has done that, and you can see Essai 58, in order to validate this method. When he has finished that job, he gives the result to Pelouse, and Pelouse used that in order to reduce the price of Hulot. So from 1.5 for 1,000 stamps, he went down to 60 centimes, 0.6. You know? And it's very interesting when you see the letter which are exchanged between Hulot advocating to keep the reason why, and Pelouse asking him to go down. And they use that method in order to reduce the price that Hulot was requesting. And they put that in a cabinet. We are in 58, 59. Okay? Okay, I will come back to that later. So, you know, this is this method of printing, of doing plates, which were done, but which has never been used in France. Okay? Because Hulot managed to cut his price. And this is what was expecting by the ministry and the stuff. So now we are not anymore in 58. We are when Hulot and Kalergis fight each other, and Pelouse, when you have seen that and the bad relation between Hulot and the Greek guys of Paris, said to Barre, "Hey Barre, you remember a few years ago you have done that method. Why not using it for the Greek?" And Barre was so happy, because they were hating each other between Barre. Because you can imagine, Barre was getting 1,500, stop. The other guy was getting 1,500 for each Galvano, and he was making tens of them, and he was paid also for the stamps. So the other guy who has done everything was that, and the other guy was rich. You know, so they were hating each other. And he was not the artist, he was not the guy who was creating the stamps. So anyway, Barre takes that, and he has done some, when he knew that, in April 61, he has done another plate proof, only one sheet. It's done in blue paper, and guess what? on the back, you have the famous number. Okay? And that was done in 61. Not in 58, but in 61. And you can see that there is that stuff that I will come back again, which, because obviously to do that, he has not used Hulot workshop. He went outside and he found another guy named Meyer, who was a printer in Paris at that time.
Is that a plate 100?
This is 150. The plate of the 58?
I've been before this,
No, I will come back.
for the exhibition and...
I will come back. I will just after that. So this is the 58 done in 61. Okay? With the interesting stuff which is on the back of the stamps and that we love.
And the same positioning errors as the
Exactly
stamps.
the same. Okay? So, for an example, I have that one. Unfortunately, I don't have the same position, but you can see here that the inverted 0 is also on the same position. I don't remember 88, I think, but it's the same. The error of the numbers are the same on the TED lepta and this blue or blue paper stamp. So now the famous plate. So there is, Barr has done a very nice letter when he has shipped the first plate to the Greek, which is a way to use them, with many details on. Okay? And he said, I tried to do several experimentation on what is the right metal to use for making the plates. For him, the copper was alterating and was by chemical stuff making some differences on colors. So he was trying not to use the copper, which is easy to point, but which is alterating the ink and the color. He said, why not using the steel? Okay, so he has done an experimentation, which is that stamps, the Ceres without inscription. So he removed everything. He has done a plate only of 100, because he has to count it, okay, directly on the, and that one is a pure steel, nothing else, okay? And he's writing that. This is probably the best metal to use, but it's so difficult to count, okay? And he has done that in 61, okay? The plate was made by 100, as I said. They were also printed by Meyer, and I will come back to exhibit of 62. So, let's say, then you know, so this was done for validation of the new methodology to do the plates. This was in 58, in 61, okay. And after the Greek, let's say in 62, he registered to exhibit in the World Universal Exhibition in London, and he has seen, I have the catalogue of that period, he has seen several things. He has shown that stuff, so you know, it's like that, you know, with 3 without numbers, unfortunately, okay, and he's saying, épreuve d'une planche. He was trying to sell his method elsewhere. Okay, so he has shown that. He has shown also sheets of stamps, and he has shown that one. Okay, which is planche en acier. I mean steel. Okay, Albert Barr, Paris, 60 to 61 or 62. Okay, so he has not done it for...
In 3 plates you saw something.
Yeah.
They have no inscription down.
No, they have the 00. On the stamp, you mean?
No, on the seal.
On the panel?
Yeah.
Yeah, yes.
It's everything.
But it's not easily... Let me write from here, maybe, no, it's smaller. Épreuve d'une planche en bronze. Bronze. Bronze is the bellows, brass, the bellows. Une planche en bronze made by 150 stamps, identical, frappé, coined in the coining machine. First application of this new process, okay, done for the French administration.
Εξηγεί λοιπόν ο κατάλογος
It's difficult to read.
ότι εδώ πέρα έχουμε δοκίμια πλάκας,
Κάτω-κάτω έχει καμία επιγραφή.
καμία.
Μέσα στο γραμμάτο, μέσα στην
Εδώ εννοείς.
Ah no, on the
Όχι στο φύλλο,
τίποτα δεν έχει.
όχι στο φύλλο, δεν είναι.
Όχι, στο πίσω.
Πού τίποτα.
Τίποτα δεν έχει. Sur la feuille, on the sheet by itself, there is no inscription at all.
Who printed this items?
That stuff we don't know. Because it was in 58, maybe it was Meyer already. But he has not-
Was not in 58 in this thing.
No, this is in 58.
It's a normal French stamp.
No, it's a
Essai
58.
It says 58 was made in 59 and so on.
No.
58.
No, 50, he has done that 58 essay, or plain proof, in order to validate his method. Okay? Because when he has to show to Pelouse the job, if Pelouse is showing only the plate, he will not see anything. He wants to see the stamp, how it was the stamp. So he has done few sheets. You have that thick of sheet at the museum of the Postal Museum of Paris. He took that, which was his property, and he exposed it.
Bar made the plate. But Bar in his workshop, he had not the possibility
No, to print. So
to print the same.
no, and
Where
obviously.
it was printed? By Hilot, by
No.
Mayer, or in the state?
No, not because in the state it was, as it was done against, probably it was done. He has not said a word. It was
Somewhere.
so he has asked a printer outside. It could be, but there is no clue. So it's a possibility, but you are not sure because it's not written. So maybe but not at the state because it was and that was done against So if you have seen that, you cannot imagine why you are using a new way for making plate when it's my job, So it was not done at the state.
Tell me, this material is kept in the...
No, it's mine. Everything you see is mine.
You have it.
I have everything, except when I put in,
Except
except when I say it's not mine,
Yes.
and it's written.
Yeah.
You will see everything is mine. I have it. So because it was part of the bar archive, and they have been sold in O2, and I buy some of stuff at that time.
Bar was not paying. It was not paid for this, so it's in his archive. I understand, right?
That is coming from the bar archive.
Yeah, I know.
Okay,
And
so
because he's not paid from the government,
But he
right? So he has
no,
this for his
he
archive.
was paid by the government. By the way,
Not for
if
this.
you take the
not for
letters,
this.
when he's going to London, in 63 or 2 or 3, 63, he's asking to Pelouse, please, Mr. Pelouse, may I take that? Okay, I will be very
Polite.
careful about that, in order to expose them at the Universal Exhibition of London, that will show to the world the way the French are making things. Okay, and Pelouse answer a letter, very small, no problem. Okay, so normally, if you are a lawyer, this is
Belongs
to
France.
that one.
Yeah.
But the stuff before, when he was making a die, was belonging to him. Because the French guys were asking the final die, not the intermediate one he has to do it in order to build the final one. But you're right, that one, normally if you see all the paper, they are the property of the French government.
No, not the lawyers.
And if you say this made for the exhibition,
No, but that one was,
Όχι.
that was
Ας
made for,
εξηγείτε.
that was made, but the sheets themselves, they were from 58. He has done that in order to present them, to exhibit them, you know, and to show them to the world. I mean, he were expecting to get some orders.
Τα μοντάρισε το 62 για έκθεση.
Έφτιαξε αυτό
Τα
το
μοντάρισε το 62.
Τα κοντά.
Αυτά τα τρία πράγματα που είναι το 58.
Είχε τα φύλλα αυτά ολόκληρα.
Υπήρχαν τα φύλλα τυπωμένα το 58 και επισήμως ενδεχομένως στην κατοχή.
Γιατί ακούω ότι δεν έχουν βάλει.
Τα τρία αυτά
Ολόκληρα
φύλλα,
αυτά.
sorry for our break. Τα τρία αυτά φύλλα και ζητώ συγγνώμη που διέκοψα. Λοιπόν, τα τρία αυτά φύλλα είχαν τυπωθεί το 58. Ήταν στο αρχείο του κράτους του Γαλλικού και βγαίνοντας για το 62 να εκθέσει τη δουλειά του, ζήτησε την άδεια από τον Πελούς να τα πάρει από το αρχείο για να τα εκθέσει με το σκεπτικό να δείξει πώς κάνουν τα γραμματόσημα οι Γάλλοι. Ο Πελούς του είπε «ΟΚ», τα πήρε, τα μοντάρισε σε αυτό το πλαίσιο, το οποίο είναι εκθεματικό πλαίσιο και δεν τα ξανάδωσε.
And he keep everything.
Yeah.
Πες τα Νίκο, πες τα.
Μην το διακόπτεις άλλο, για να μπορέσει να εξηγήσει.
Γιατί θα φύγουμε 12 η ώρα.
If you are, then I cannot hear you. So,
To the French state.
yeah, it was totally official.
That he provided this
Yeah, it was totally official. He asked Pelouse, please, Mr. Pelouse, I want to go.
This is how to take them.
No, to take them. He has not given them.
Giving them to the apostle.
He asked for getting them, and he has not given them back.
That's it.
Okay.
Ξέρω, πες την
So let's go because we have many things to see. So now, I mean, let's speak about the MOOCUP. The MOOCUP, you know, this is not mine, unfortunately.
Σάβος is not here.
Okay, so, but you agree, huh?
Yeah.
Some guys are agreeing,
The
some guys.
The provenance was from Nikas.
So Nikos bought it from Rothschild, from the Adolf, you know, in 92. So what is interesting, that the head by itself is drawing on the ink, China ink, okay? The stuff here is the French stamps. So he took a French stamps, he's removed the head of Napoleon, okay? And he has done the drawing of that head. You know, so it's a drawing, like, okay? You can see it.
Το κεφάλι είναι απίστευτο. Το ίδιο το κεφάλι. Είναι άλλο πράγμα. Το άλλο είναι ένα τίποτα.
So, and you know,
Είναι μελανωμένο.
he put Nikogrammatosima lepta, as it was mentioned on the letter order, and he gave it to a guy named Nathalie Rondeau, which was a rich guy from London, from Lyon. Okay, hommage affectueux de l'auteur means good things from the author.
Very rough inking of the two. It's interesting how beautiful work was done for the head and how rough
Yeah,
the retouching of the top, bottom, and at the side. He didn't value any of the framing.
no, it's just
But he put such a valuable
yeah.
little thing inside this very rough
That's it's
setting.
wonderful.
Yeah, it's a strange contrast.
Yeah, but I mean here for that he took the stuff here that he had, you know.
Yeah, but it was very rough, very rough, and the medallion and shows and at the top.
So this is what we can say about it. I have not found anything about except the way it's done. So now,
Μια ερώτηση που πάντοτε έχουν απορία. Ξέρουμε ότι τα πρώτα γραμματόσημα όλων των χωρών δείξαν τους βασιλιάδες τους. Εμείς είμαστε από τους μάλλον και μοναδικοί που ζητήσαμε τον Ελλήνιο. Ποιος είχε την ιδέα αυτή, ξέρετε?
I'm pas ça. We don't know. They speak each
Ο
other.
Όθωνας ταρακουνιότανε στην καρέκλα του τον καιρό εκείνο Η προοπτική της δυναστείας ήταν αμφιβολή τη στιγμή εκείνη, χωρίς διαδόχους.
Ναι.
Ταυτόχρονα ήταν ένας πραγματικά μεγαλοφυής ελληνολάτρης, κλασικολάτρης, ο Όθωνας,
Όπως και ο μπαμπάς.
όπως και ο μπαμπάς του. He was, and he had excellent taste, whether we like the Bavarians or not, much better taste than the following guys that came after Otto. So this guy, first of all, this was very appropriate because it was for Greece and for commerce, and it was the most appropriate thing to do. And I think we have to credit this just a bit to Otto. I feel, because he was not, he had everybody under his control in the Basilico Typografio and Kaleris and everyone. He was still in charge, and he did what the other little petty kings of Europe didn't do. So I think we have to give him a bit of credit. I don't think it would have happened without him.
Probably.
If we don't give him a credit for adopting Hermes, at least we should credit him for denying putting his effigy.
But you know,
Not possible.
I don't think that the bar did amazingly good things for this particular stamp. Method, everything he did was great for this country. He was our benefactor.
Yes.
But the decision itself, I mean, okay, he would replace Dimitrov with something else. That makes sense. But but the decision must have been in the control of the Greek government, and I believe at that time also the king. I don't think that this could have happened at that time, because we're talking about 1860, the decision, without the king's approval. So I think we have to credit that little bit. And they were also concerned with the quality of impression very much until Otto was sent away, and everything changed when the dynasty changed, because they had other issues to deal with. And all this establishment for the quality of the classical appearance of the Greek stamps and all that went aside. They had other things to worry about.